Well, all right. I am back out in the Cherokee National Forest, and it is one beautiful day out here. I found this trail that I've never hiked before, but from the looks of the signs, it looks like it goes uh, quite a ways. And here at the beginning, it's been great so far. So let's see uh, how far I can make it in the next few hours. But yeah, I've got a couple days off, so I don't plan on leaving the forest for a little while. We'll see what happens. So I couldn't get it on film, but this dog just came down the trail ahead of me, and yeah, as soon as it saw me, it disappeared faster than I could get my camera on it. But this was it. This did not look like a coyote. It was bigger and dark brown, almost black. Its ears were different than a coyote's. Its face wasn't quite as narrow. This looked more like a wolf, both in the size and the features of it. It was definitely a big dog. Shoot, I hadn't seen one of those or a canine like that since the cypress swamps in South Georgia. Honestly, I don't know what it was. I guess it could have been a wild dog. I don't know if the Kai wolves are down here, you know, the hybrids, the coyote wolf hybrids. I'm not sure if they're around here, but shoot, it could have fooled me. Dang, I wish I could have gotten it on film. Yeah, you know, thinking more about that dog that I saw a little while back. This thing was, like I said, definitely very dark brown and black in spots. But it was, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm realizing that this dog looked almost exactly like the one I saw in South Georgia about 3 years ago. And it happened the same way. I was out on a trail in the cypress swamps, and this very dark, almost like a coyote, but different somehow, dog appeared a couple 100 feet ahead of me in the trail, very quietly, and yeah, it just stood there and stared at me for a second before turning around and quietly disappearing. But it's exactly how this one happened, and I know that, you know, that this kind of thing happens, and there are black dogs everywhere, but it makes me think, I can't help but think of some of the folklore I've heard about the appearance of a strange black dog. And I think a lot of it is of European origin, that folklore, but I feel like I've heard some from North America too, and maybe even in other places around the world. But there are a whole bunch of stories about sightings of these black dogs that are different somehow. They're just almost otherworldly. Yeah, and in those stories, if I'm remembering them correctly, it plays out in at least one of at least two ways. And in one way, the dog will appear to someone, usually walking alone through the woods or on a lonely road somewhere, oftentimes at night, and it'll appear to someone feeling a little vulnerable, and almost serve as like a guardian, kind of get them to where they're going safely. it'll kind of protect them and see them to their destination and then disappear just as quickly as they showed up. But then in the other stories, they are a little bit more malevolent, and the appearance of this black dog can like be a sign of something not so good to come, or they can just be dangerous themselves in a otherworldly sort of way. But no, if you ever feel like getting a little spooky, look up some of that folklore about the appearance of the black dogs. It's definitely interesting, and I don't know. It's given me a lot to think about. Well, all right. I very much enjoyed that trail. Um, I didn't even get very far. It looks like it goes quite a ways for maybe 9 miles as far as the signs say. So definitely want to come back here and try to get a little further at some point, but it's after 2 o'clock now, so I'm thinking about trying to look for a good parking spot for the night. Maybe a little bit further north in the forest, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So, found this nifty new little pull-off. Um, I'm actually pretty far down this road at this point, and I'm not far at all from a campground that's a little bit further, which I've been to before. It's really cool, but it is Friday afternoon, and I've seen a lot of traffic already just coming out here today, so I don't know for sure, but I imagine that campsite will probably be a little busy tonight. So rather than going to check it out, I think I'll probably just try to stay here. I would much prefer a quiet little forest pull off to a crowded campsite. So we'll see what happens. You never know, but I think this might work for the night. I don't see any crazy big trees leaning towards the van, at least not directly towards the van. So let's hope that'll be okay. Yeah, it's looking like it might be about to drizzle here in a little bit. But we'll find out. Wow, that's a fungus for you. I know I've seen this one before. Um, it looks so familiar. I almost want to call it chicken of the woods, but I'm not sure about that. Um, don't take my word for it. I'll tell you that. But it's beautiful, whatever it is. I keep hearing somebody yelling, somebody shouting. What's going on down there? Yeah, that's about where that campground I was talking about might be. It might be there that voice is coming from. I don't know what's going on. It sounds like whoever it is not having a good night. Yeah, the sound was getting closer. Whoever it was, it sounded like they were coming this way. You know, the more I think about it, I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure where that campground is in relation to me. This person might just be walking along the road or a trail back in there. I could almost tell what he was saying, but wasn't quite clear enough. Luckily though, it doesn't sound like they're in need of help. It more sounds like they're just a little angry. So, yep, some cars have gone by. A couple of trucks, I think. So, I don't know. I might hear an interaction going on here in a minute. Well, I haven't heard the shouting for quite a while now, so hoping whatever it was that was going on has resolved itself. But yeah, hoping for a pretty quiet rest of the night. We'll see what happens. Well, the rest of the night ended up being really quiet, really nice. The rain started coming down a little bit, so just a super pleasant night. I did end up moving the van a little bit further back, closer to this gate, just to avoid this big old pine tree right here. It is a real giant. I don't know if you can see it too well. That's the base of it. I saw it when I got here, but I figured where I was parked was probably safe. Although, when I got to thinking about it, as it got dark, I just figured it couldn't hurt to back the van up a few more feet and put a little distance between it and that giant back there. But yeah, I think I'm probably just fixing to have some coffee and enjoy this beautiful morning out here. Yeah, I don't know how far this road goes. For some reason I get the idea that it probably doesn't go very far, but it's worth a shot. It's worth checking out. So, thinking more about what happened last night with that shouting, the voice of that person, wherever it was coming from, I still don't know, but it made me think of some more folklore that I've heard. And I didn't intend for this to be like a spooky kind of episode. It's just kind of how the cards are falling this time. And I've been reading a lot of it, so it's been on my mind, kind of filtering the experience through all the folklore I've been looking into recently. But there's folklore, and it's very widespread, so you've probably heard of this. It's all over the world, I think, but definitely in the United States. A lot of it comes from out west, kind of in the deserts. But I've also heard about some of it from here in the Appalachian Mountains. And yeah, I love scary stories. I love folklore. I like being unsettled by scary stories. I think a lot of people do. But for whatever reason, this particular folklore makes me unsettled in a different kind of way, and I don't know why. But anyway, the stories talk about something out in the forest or in the desert, in the mountains, that can sound like a human. Oftentimes, it'll sound like a human in trouble, calling for help, or, in distress. And even, it'll be like, people will think it might be like a lost hiker or something, or even more creepy. Sometimes it'll even sound like someone when you're absolutely positive there's no way that person could be out there. And yeah, whatever this creature is, I think it's called a number of different things, but yeah, apparently the folklore says that it can mimic a human voice with the intention of tricking you or luring you deeper into the forest. But yeah, so it's tricky too, because you definitely don't want those stories to prevent you from helping someone who's actually, in need of help, because that happens. People get lost and end up calling for help, and obviously you want to help them out, but there are quite a lot of stories about that where someone is calling for help and there's just no one there, But yeah, I have no doubt that whoever that was last night was just having a rough night. I'm pretty sure it was coming from down the road, and if it was near that campsite, it might have just been somebody, it was Friday night last night, so maybe someone just had a little too much to drink or something like that. But they weren't, like I said, they weren't calling for help. They were just kind of yelling and cussing and that kind of thing. So yeah, I have no doubt that was an actual person. But I could not help but think of those stories I've been reading where people say, if you hear this and you're out in the backcountry, you need to get as far away as you can, because whatever it is not somebody who actually needs help. But yeah, and I have been reading a lot of folklore, especially like regional folklore about this place. So I'm kind of filtering all of this through the things I've been thinking about lately. But I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. So if you feel like spooking yourself a little bit more, go check out some of that folklore about the creature that can mimic a human in distress. But anyway, deeper into the woods I go. Well, it looks like I was wrong about this road not going very far. It actually does. Unfortunately though, I'm afraid the brush is just too thick for my taste. I'm afraid I can't risk stepping around in this stuff when I can't see very clearly. So let me turn around now and see if I can start heading back. So this is kind of cool. There's a whole lot of what I think is Carolina horse nettle. A whole lot of it growing out here, which is about right. I mean, I know back in Georgia, this stuff would be popping up right about now. But I've talked about it a little bit before, and if I'm correct, if this is Carolina horse nettle, I think I found some of it back in Alabama earlier this year. It was the plant with the little yellow cherries on it. It seems like they just kind of hold on through the winter and then reseed eventually. But yeah, a lot of people hate this stuff because it is kind of a nuisance. Like it pops up everywhere, and it's very poisonous, so it can, it can harm livestock and stuff like that. But I don't know, I just find it fascinating. Yeah, it's definitely in the nightshade family, which is kind of cool. I think kind of the same family as, like Datura and Brugmansia, and other plants like that. But yeah, very, very powerful and kind of scary stuff. So since we're sort of on a bit of a spooky episode, might as well talk about what I think is kind of a spooky, cool plant. Can't tell if they're using weed eaters or chainsaws. Doing something down there. I don't know what's going on, man. It sounds like somebody on a weed eater or something. I don't know if it's the forestry folks or what. Sounds like they're coming this way. Yeah, I tried to park the van so that it was out of the way of that gate. Folks could still get through if the forestry folks needed to access this road, but yeah, I sure hope it wasn't blocking them if they came in this way. Fixing to find out. Okay, so I think I am fixing to head a little further down this road. Maybe past that campsite down there. And because that's as far as I've been. I've never gone past the campsite. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I just passed the campsite I was talking about. It was packed. It was packed full. So I'm glad I didn't try to stay there last night. Man, I am definitely more of a forest road pull-off kind of a guy. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Okay then. So far, so good. This little pull-off is kind of situated a little bit off the road, which is really nice. The introvert in me is happy about that one. So far, so good. I think it might work. We'll find out. Well, I didn't go very far down this road, but I sure do like it. I'll have to come back another day and enjoy a little bit more of it. Yeah, I haven't busted out the old hammock in quite a while. I haven't hammock camped one time yet this year, so it's supposed to be clear tonight. I figured now is as good a time as any. Well, all right. I have climbed on up into the hammock now, and yeah, it feels pretty comfortable so far. You know what I realized? Tonight will be the very first night in 9 months, I think. The first night in 9 months that I have not stayed in the van. Literally every single night for the past 9 months I've spent in that wonderful, wonderful van. But yeah, it has been an interesting past couple of days. Kind of weird, kind of strange. Some strange stuff happened. And it might it might not be done yet. But yeah, you never know. You never know what you're gonna find when you go out to the forest. And you also never know what in the forest might find you. But anyway, thanks for coming along. I guess I'll see you later.